All right, the long-awaited video. We are back on the 55 Nomad. Graydon's under here getting everything prepped to get the floor out of it. So I don't know if we've shown it in the other video or not. If not, I will show it in just a few. But we got a brand new floor for this thing, as well as inner wheel wells. So he's going to get all the rest of the body bolts out and get all the rest of the crap out that's there. So I should be getting the floor out of this thing here pretty soon. But before we go cutting the actual floor out, we are going to brace the back of the car. So when we cut it out, the back of this thing doesn't want to move, which it shouldn't because all this stuff's in place, but it's just a nice, just makes it a little bit more comfortable when you're doing it. So we'll get back with you when we get the plasma cutter out and probably show you how we brace the back of it and then do some cool cutting getting this floor out. All right, we're getting started on the bracing. As you saw in the first Nomad video, which is like, I think our first full video we put out, these door bars are in, but we're also doing a brace that's gonna run from here to the other side that way, from here to the other side, and then we'll square in and weld the tops of those. That's the way it's all nice and squared in, fully braced. And then as you can see back here, he got his piece welded in here. So he's got it all marked up, cleaned up there. So we'll weld this brace in at this point here. That'll be braced, and then we'll run one in the top section as well. All right, he's marking up the cross piece here. And as you can see, we got our little extensions tacked in here and there. So crossbar, that one he's measuring out and cutting, will run from here to there. And then we're gonna do one from here to there, and then like I said, bridge it this way. So he's getting this thing all set up and marked to cut, so we'll let him get on that and finish that out.
I think I handed you the not hot side.
Yeah, I appreciate that since I don't have gloves. Hey, I think that'll work.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the jam was a little...
Yeah, which doesn't matter. We're going to weld it anyway. As you can tell, it's like the jams are angled compared to that, but it doesn't matter. You just weld that in place. And
yeah, I'll do some bridge in there just to be safe.
Yep, it'll be good. So, cool. If you want, I can help you hold this, and then you can tack that side in. I'll hold this while you...
Yep. I might be able to use this guy
as a clamperino.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Good first one. Hey, if you want, toss the gun over to me and I'll go ahead and get this side tacked in. That way I'm not having to hold it. And you should be able to leave the ground where it's at.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, then you can finish them out if you want. Now that way it's at least held in. We're not trying to dangle them.
Right.
All right, there it is. And after he finishes burning in that little section, we're gonna get our crossbars made from there to there. And it should be complete enough to where we can get the old plasma cutter fired up and figure out how we're gonna go about getting the floor out and getting the body away from the chassis. Okay, we finished up all the bracing up top. We ran out of tubing, so we did have to section the pieces, you can see there. But it's all braced up. We got the lift set underneath it, where all the strong points are on the rockers. Believe it or not, they are still pretty solid and strong. Got the other side set up as well. There's that, and there's that one. So we're ready to try to buzz this thing up. We just got the shock bolts loose. So that should be just about everything. So we'll hit it with a little time lapse and see if we can get this body out of here. All right, so we tried to get this thing lifted. We got, it's braced good. We got all the bolts out, body bolts out, and the shock bolts and all that stuff so we can lift the body. But the way we have it set up, just because of where the pinch welds are rotted at the back of the body, but yet solid, the rest of the 80% of them, we can't roll it forward, and there's so much back weight, it's wanting to kind of tip. So we're gonna figure something out here, and we're gonna end the day off with it just ready to come off. So tomorrow we're gonna tackle actually getting them separated so we can get into cutting the floor itself out and get the new floor over here and get it welded in. But yeah, that first thing we got to do is get this thing lifted right and properly to where the weight's distributed evenly so we can not worry about tipping over or anything like that. So, well, that's gonna end it for this portion. And the next clip, hopefully we'll be getting this thing separated properly and not tipping. All right, guys, as you saw in the time lapse there, we got the body off the chassis. Not fully enough where we can get the chassis out from underneath it, but we want to get the rest of the floor cut out first. And probably the clip before you saw me drag the back portion of the floor out, which is right here. And our new floor comes from the front of the car, which is the back section, and comes all the way up to this step right here. So that's perfect. And we have a couple original rear sections, which is this back portion here. So when we get back from lunchtime, which is probably the next clip you'll see, is we're going to get the plasma cutter fired up and go right shy of the seam, cut along the front, cut down there, and cut the floor braces out, and should have the rest of that floor out. So then in turn we can start getting stuff cleaned up, get the top of our rockers patched, and as well as a couple spots back there, and we'll be ready for the new floor. Okay, our plasma cutter ended up taking a doo-doo, which was awesome, perfect timing. So we had to go the old route and use the cutting wheel. So we just finished this thing up. So now it's time to get the sucker out from underneath the car. All right, and that's it. We got it out. So now the next step will be getting this portion of the original floor brace out cleaning up where the pinch weld seam is there for the new floor. Okay, heater's running, so it's a little loud. It is literally like 9 degrees out with the real feel of -4 with the wind chill, so a little bit chilly. Last clip, I think I left off showing the bracing and the floor cutout. Just to give a little update real quick of what I'm gonna do. Pretty sure we are going to be getting new rockers, and then we'll blend the paint when we install the new rockers to match the original paint when we finish stripping the car. This little pedestal for the A-pillar was rotten on that side, so that's something we'll recreate when the new floor already goes in. So goals for today are get this floor brace out over here, and where we had cut the floor out, there's a pinch weld. You can kind of see it right there. We got to trim this up to said pinch weld, so when the new floor goes in, it gets spotted to that. So what I am starting on right now is, if you can see this inner panel here, really hard to see, I should probably get a light, but this is part of the old floor. You can see this channel comes down and has like a U shape here. As you can see, this side is completely gone. So I'm going to use this side as a template, go ahead and get that made, because the beauty is once I get that made and then get this side fixed as well, the new rockers and the floor bolt or weld right up to that, and then we'll be ready to address these inner wheel wells, which we have laying right over there. So I'm gonna get going and get myself like a little cardboard template, and yeah, get rolling. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, there we go. Now you can see it. Yeah, so I got to recreate that on this side. So not too big of a deal. So let's get started on this thing, and I'll take you along for a whole process on this. So it should be pretty fun. Okay, so we got the first cut. You see where it was there. The inner wheel well tub actually has a little flange on it, which will come down and replace this portion through here. So all I have left to do now is cut through here and right along there, and then remake this section. And then the new floor actually has the inner rocker, as well as this pinch weld and this guy right here. So all right, we'll go ahead and get this guy done, and should be able to start making our template. Made. So as you can see, sitting there, got a new channel. So as you can see back here, I made the piece just a little bit too long. I mean, it meets up right here okay, but I might trim just this section off, just to where the inner fender flange can come down to it. I'll probably leave this down here where it meets up to that, but just trim a little bit of this back edge off, which is great because you can always be too long, because you can always trim. But as far as fitment, lines right up. Get this all cleaned up with the wire wheel, and we'll be ready to weld the seam through here and across there. And then after that, we'll be ready to move on to whatever else needs to be addressed first before the floor, which will be more than likely the inner wheel tubs. All right, guys, got it tacked in, so ready to go through and finish weld it along this portion here, and then that'll be done with this portion of the inner repair, and we'll be ready to move on to these guys and then address all this stuff when we put the floor in. All right, we got it all stitched in, so it's good to go. It's pretty tough welding to the old metal, which is usually a given. Can't see on video that well, but it kind of warped just due to it being old and thin. But when we cut this out, this will go right back where it's supposed to go. So, which is perfect. So leaves a little gap right there for the inner to go up, because there's supposed to be a flange on top of that flat part that's rusted. So that flange will go to the piece I just made, and we'll weld that up as well. So now Graydon's got this side made, and that side's ready to weld in. And then, like I said, once those these two sides are both done, we'll be ready to address the tubs and then move on from there and get the floor in it. Okay, to end this video out on the Nomad, I think I showed you guys we were making the replacement panels. So that side's all done like I showed. This side is done as well. And I got this all trimmed up to the flange or the pinch weld. So the new floor is ready to go in. So basically our next step is getting the old inner rockers out. This piece you see here, which is almost non-existent. And then we are going to buy new outer rockers, even though they look pretty solid. They're a little rotten, soft on the bottom and top, as you can tell here. So we're gonna replace both those on each side and get the outers welded in, and then get our new tubs marked, cut, and welded in. And once we do that, we'll be ready to toss this new floor in it. And then we'll be at the back, after that stuff's all said and done, replacing all this support and putting the rear floor in. So yeah, we're gonna end this one off here. So yeah, like this one and share it. If you want to see more of this Nomad stuff, just stick around and wait, because we should be making some killer progress on it. So hopefully this thing stays in here for us to get all the stuff done I just went over. So yeah, give us a subscribe too. So that'll be it for this one. And next one might be another Nomad one, or it'll be a little update on the Corvette and a couple other things.